Good afternoon. It's very nice being in a room where we're all talking about higher education. We know the importance of it. So I'm very pleased to be here to present AB 38, which asks the LAO to conduct a statewide analysis to assess the need for a new CSU campus. We know that higher education is the best investment any of us can make in the state of California. We know that right now there are more people desiring of higher education than we currently have space for in our CSU and UC system. We all know the impacts that have been going on. And while the state has been in a huge budget crisis and we've had to cut back, we know that's going to change. That is changing. This bill serves to be ready when the economy comes back fully and we're ready to fund a new CSU, that we have the actual data of where the greatest needs are in order to be able to use our money most effectively. So since defunding of the California Post-Secondary Education Commission in 2011, we have not had a coordinating body to be able to do this type of work. So without having that coordinating body, we don't have good concrete data from which to make our decisions. We know that we are going to have at least, in 2015, 41% of Californians should have a higher education, a college degree, to be able to obtain the kinds of jobs that will be available. And right now we'll only have about 35 million. We have at least a million shortfall right now, and that is going to continue to grow, especially as the population continues to grow. So this simply directs the LAO to conduct a statewide analysis of the needs for a new CSU. The analysis will look at enrollment demands based on a 5 to 10 year projections of the college-age population and public high school graduates. It will look at data for the most recent available on college preparedness. It will look at county college going rates based on CSU applications, admissions, and enrollment for the most recent year available. It'll look at data on educational attainment, and an analysis of the physical capacities of existing CSU campuses. I'm glad to take any questions, but respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Any witnesses in support?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Chair and members, Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the California Faculty Association Political Action Committee has adopted a support position for this legislation. Going through the process of finalizing that, support letter forthcoming. In the meantime, please support the bill, and thank you for your time.
Big microphone.
Selena Pryor Dansby, SEIU Local 1000, also in support. Thank you.
Any witnesses in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee? Had a motion by Mr. Santiago, second by Mr. Levine. The motion is due pass to appropriations. Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, if you please call the roll.
Medina.
Aye.
Medina, aye. Baker. Aye. Baker, aye. Bloom.
Aye.
Bloom, aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Harper. No. Harper, no. Irwin. Aye. Irwin, aye. Jones Sawyer. Aye. Jones Sawyer, aye. Levine. Levine, aye. Linder. Aye. Linder, aye. Lowe. Santiago. Aye. Santiago, aye. Weber. Aye. Weber, aye. Williams. Aye. Williams, aye.
11-1. Ms. Eggman, your bill is passed out of committee. I will leave it open for add-on.
Thank you very much.
Next, item 15, Ms. Bonilla.
Mixing it up. Thank you very much.
Ms. Baker. I have to ask Ms. Baker.
Dear Chair and members, I present to you AB 831, which will give financially needy and academically deserving students fairness and predictability as they and their families plan for college. You'll soon find out that the Cal Grants are one of my favorite topics, and one of the things I'm most eager to advocate for here in my position in the Assembly. Specifically, this bill does two main things. It maintains the Cal Grant Award at its current level for students attending private nonprofit colleges and universities for the 15-16 school year, reversing the governor's proposed 11% cut. One reason this is such an important piece of legislation for me is that I was actually chair of the Education Budget Subcommittee the year that we agreed to these cuts. We were in great financial distress at the time, and the only way we were going to be able to get the budget through was to agree to multi- and out-year cuts. We've now seen our financial situation change, and it is my hope that with this legislation, we will be able to recognize the fact that it is no longer necessary, what seemed necessary a few years ago. Also, AB 831 establishes a formula for determining the maximum Cal Grant award levels for students attending these institutions. The formula would link award amounts to the average cost of educating a Cal Grant student at a four-year public institution. As a condition, these participating institutions would be required to submit detailed performance metrics to the legislature on an annual basis. The absence of a policy for determining the Cal Grant award for students at private nonprofits has led to an unpredictable and arbitrarily determined award amount. Since 2000, the Cal Grant award for students attending these institutions has declined in value by 37%. Private nonprofit colleges and universities play a very critical role in meeting our workforce needs and the state's demand for higher education. Annually, these institutions serve more than 184,000 undergraduate students, with Californians making up 70% of this number. So they're doing an incredible job of taking the overflow and the students we cannot fit into our Cal State and UC system and educating them. Furthermore, they are, further beyond alleviating our capacity pressures, they're also providing students this opportunity to attend college who otherwise might not be able to attend. It gives them a greater choice in selecting the college where they are most likely to succeed. The bill is very personal to me. I was a Cal Grant student myself, and I would not have been able to attend Azusa Pacific University if I had not had the Cal Grant when I went to college. And it would ensure that all other students today would have that same opportunity. I want to recognize that we have members Baker, Lowe, and Chavez who have requested to be co-authors of this bill, and when we amend it, we'll make sure that you appear as co-authors at the very first opportunity. And today I have with me Dr. Dobkin, who is the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at St. Mary's College, and Anayeli Morales, who is a student at the University of the Pacific.
Good afternoon, committee members. As I was just introduced, I am Dr. Beth Dobkin, the Provost at St. Mary's College of California. We are located in Moraga. We serve approximately 4,100 students, 2,800 of whom are undergraduates. And we are a member of the Association of Independent Colleges and California Colleges and Universities. So I'm speaking today on behalf not just of our institution, but my colleagues in the private nonprofit sector of higher education. First, I'd like to thank Assemblymember Bonilla and the Higher Education Committee for the commitment to ensuring that California's low-income students have access to higher education with the assistance of state financial aid. As you can see from material distributed by AICCU, Cal Grant students at private nonprofit institutions represent the diversity of California, are often first-generation college students, and on average achieve better four-year graduation rates than students across higher education sectors. At St. Mary's College, about 20% of our undergraduate students receive Cal Grants. They are some of California's most diverse and underrepresented students in higher education. Over 63%, nearly two-thirds of our Cal Grant recipients are also students of color. Our targeted efforts at serving more of these students has led to a 10% increase in our four-year graduation rates. Over half of our Cal Grant students are first in their family to attend college, and these Cal Grant students are increasingly successful at St. Mary's. Our most recent five-year graduation rate stands at 74%, 4% higher than their peers overall. AB 831 seeks to protect higher education access and choice for low-income California students and strengthen the long-standing partnership the state has with the private nonprofit sector to serve them. Since the development of the Cal Grant program in the 1950s, this partnership has effectively provided access to students and leveraged the capacity of the private nonprofit institutions to assist the state in meeting the evolving needs of our workforce and also serving our diverse students. St. Mary's has shared this commitment to low-income first-generation students since its inception 150 years ago. Our motto is enter to learn, leave to serve. And our Board of Trustees insists that 25% of our students are Pell eligible. The commitment is there, and we're doing what we can to sustain it. AB 831 would help us and our private education colleagues. It's also smart higher education policy. The predictability in the award value and the incremental increase over time will ensure low-income California students and their families can plan appropriately for college and afford to enroll in California's private nonprofit institutions. Our students rely upon multiple sources of aid, state, federal, and institution to make college affordable. Clear and consistent information regarding their aid package will assist them in making a more informed choice on where to attend college. In addition, a formula-based Cal Grant maximum award policy allows better planning and management of enrollment and retention of California low-income students. Similar to the majority of private nonprofit colleges in California, institutional aid programs are being stretched with increasing need among students and their families. We've shown a commitment to reducing operating costs while maintaining quality and increasing institutional aid, but are hampered by the unpredictability of the current program. AB 831 offers an important opportunity to offer more support to students while enabling us, California nonprofit colleges and universities, the ability to serve more of the students our economy needs. Stability creates more opportunity for all. And if we don't enact a long-term policy, we could lose two important pillars of the Cal Grant program, portability and choice. During the inception of the Cal Grant program, California made a smart policy decision that poverty should not determine, nor should it limit a student's ability to access the college or university of their choice. We urge your continued support of this program and of AB 831.
Move the bill.
Sorry about that. Chairman Medina and committee members, thank you for allowing me to speak today in support of Assembly Bill 831. My name is Daniela Morales, and I am a senior studying business administration at the University of the Pacific in Stockton. I am here today on behalf of the 28,000 Cal Grant students who attend a private nonprofit college or university in California, and the thousands of California high school students like my brother and sister who need options in where they would like to attend for higher educations. I hope my personal story provides you an example of why this is so important. I grew up in Stockton and came from a high school that had a higher dropout rate than the national average, and 87% of our students came from a low-income background. I applied to many schools, private and public, not knowing where my family could afford until I received my financial packages. It was not expected for me to go to a private four-year university. I challenged myself, and in 32 days, I will graduate from Pacific in 4 years as a first-generation underrepresented minority student. This would not have been possible without the support of the Cal Grant. The Cal Grant, Pell Grant, and a significant amount of this institutional aid that Pacific offered me provided the financial assistance for me to be able to attend a private nonprofit university, a university where I knew that I would be able to succeed with the small classes of close-knit community and their business school that helped me develop my leadership skills. I have been able to give back and make a difference in my community. There are many students who are in similar situations. We have dreams of attending a university where we can be successful, but need help with access. Our parents have lost jobs and are struggling to make ends meet and need assistance. They are California taxpayers, and I'm hoping the state sees the value in helping students like me just as much as if I had attended a UC or CSU. My hope is that AB 831 helps protect the Cal Grant Award against future cuts and empowers California students to fulfill their dreams of a college education by giving them the ability to choose a college best for them, regardless of their financial struggles. As President Obama stated, no family should set aside a college acceptance letter because they don't have the money. Lastly, I would like to thank Assemblymember Bonilla and all the legislators who have supported the Cal Grant program, even when times were tough. Students in the Cal Grant are your best investment. We'll be working professionals and contribute to the state in multiple ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Veronica Villalobos with the Association of Independent California Colleges and University. We're the sponsors of the bill, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any other witnesses in support?
Thank you. Mira Morton here on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce, also in support.
Erica Romero on behalf of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities in support.
Janet Lopez representing the University of Southern California in strong support.
Brandon Bigger with the California Student Aid Commission. We support this bill. Kathleen Soriano from the California Asian Pacific Chamber of Commerce, and we support this bill.
Witnesses in opposition.
Hello again, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Miles Nevin, representing 460,000 students in the CSU system on behalf of the California State Student Association. I do want to inform you of our opposition to AB 831. CSSA is supportive of improving the Cal Grant program, but not by increasing the award amount for students only at private, not-for-profit institutions, while students in public institutions continue to experience greater need. The state's first obligation is to support its public institutions and the students enrolled in them. Yet the CSU continues to be underfunded while serving an incredibly large, diverse population, half of whom were Pell eligible in 2014. Given limited state resources and that choices must be made, a better investment, we feel, would be to support a Cal Grant increase that benefits all students, no matter which institutions they choose to attend, such as the small but important increase to the Cal Grant B last year. It is also important to note that there was a similar bill last year and the estimated cost was $100 million. We do admire the author's commitment to college affordability and greatly appreciate that she has chosen improving access to higher education, whether through the Cal Grant program or access to lower-cost digital textbooks, as one of her top priorities. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing to work with the committee and the author on this legislation.
Any other witnesses in opposition? Questions from or comments from the committee? Ms. Baker?
I just want to thank Assemblymember Bonilla for this bill. I'm proud to have an opportunity to co-author it with you. Also want to echo the great work that St. Mary's does to make itself accessible to students of all backgrounds, all economic situations, and the terrific work you do in Moraga. Go Gales. And happy to support the bill.
Mr. Harper? No? No comment? Ms. Weber?
Right. I too want to thank Ms. Bonilla for this bill. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, I'd have voted no if I were here on this particular bill because of my preference always for state institutions. But more recently, I've had the opportunity to, as we examine the impact of Prop 209 in the state and the state institutions' inability to recruit students of color, I've seen the tremendous increase and the step up of our private institutions to go into those communities of color to recruit those students. I've seen at my own campus, USD, the University of San Diego, the private campus, a tremendous increase in the number of Latino and African American students at those institutions, the opportunity to give them scholarships and then have them match it with Cal Grants, so that those institutions are demonstrating numbers better than our UC and our CSU in terms of students of color, because they're not hampered and hindered by Prop 209. And so for that reason, I think we have a real interest in this state in our private institutions, because as we run toward getting those numbers that we talk about in terms of the numbers that are going to be needed to drive California, the millions of bachelor degrees, we're going to find that our private institutions are going to be instrumental and very helpful in getting us to those numbers, as long as we're hampered by Prop 209 and our inability to really recruit and support those students of color as they grow numerically here in the state. And you can see that in your chart in terms of the percentage of the students that are found in those institutions that are often higher than our UC and our CSU campuses, that are still around 2 and 3% for African Americans and much less 20 or so for Latinos. So I think given the fact that our private institutions have stepped up to the plate, have really addressed the critical issue that we find ourselves hampered by 209 and our inability to address, it is in the interest of the state to continue to support and increase our support for those students who are going to those private nonprofits. Thank you very much.
We had a motion by Mr. Chavez, second by Mr. Santiago. The motion before us is due pass to appropriations. Madam Secretary, if you call the roll.
Medina?
Aye.
Medina, aye. Baker? Aye. Baker, aye. Bloom? Aye. Bloom, aye. Chavez? Harper?
Aye.
Harper, aye. Irwin? Aye. Irwin, aye. Jones Sawyer?
Aye.
Jones Sawyer, aye. Levine? Linder? Aye. Linder, aye. Lowe? Aye. Lowe, aye. Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. Weber? Aye. Weber, aye. Williams? Aye. Williams, aye.
Your motion passes 11-0. I'll leave it open for those members needing to add on. Next, we'll take item 17. Ms. Chang. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. I apologize. I had been in another committee. So thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I would like to start by accepting the committee's amendments to ensure that regularly admitted community college students are not displaced as a result of this legislation. As we celebrate Women and Girls in STEM Week, I am pleased to present to you today Assembly Bill 889, a measure to benefit all of California by enhancing our educational system. In order to meet the growing demand for skilled and knowledgeable employees in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math, it is necessary for California to ensure access to STEM courses as early in a student's career as possible. According to the National Center for Education, only 28% of bachelor's degree students enter college in a STEM field. Of those that do begin their college career in pursuit of a STEM degree, less than half complete it. In order to fill the skill gap that exists in these fields, it is important that fields in STEM become an interest at an early age. This can be accomplished by increasing access to community college level courses to students while they are still in high school.
Move the bill.
Thank you. In order to in our state university system, lack of access to introductory STEM courses can produce a bottleneck effect and result in students either pursuing a new major or alternatively increasing their time to graduation. That is, of course, assuming students enter college prepared to take college level courses and not at remedial levels, as is the case for an overwhelming number of students. The ability to concurrently enroll in community college courses provides a solution to these multiple challenges. And studies have shown that students that take college level courses at an early age are more likely to graduate high school, enroll in university better prepared, and successfully complete their degree. AB 889 will provide this opportunity for more of California's students. AB 889 enables local school districts and community colleges to voluntarily enter into partnerships permitting as many qualified students who wish to concurrently enroll in STEM courses during any session to do just that. It is important to note that this does not create a free-for-all environment in which students will be able to simply walk onto a community college campus and enroll in these STEM courses. Qualified students will have to carry the recommendation of the principal of their enrolled high school, parental consent, and they must have exhausted all opportunities to take an equivalent course or program offered by the local school district. Additionally, the content of these partnerships may contain an outline for which courses students are eligible to take, the level of academic readiness they should possess. And under 889, community college districts will be able to assign any level of enrollment priority to participating students. But with the amendments agreed to today, no regularly admitted community college student will be displaced as a result. By giving students an enhanced ability to enroll in these college courses while in high school, AB 889 will not only better prepare them to enter college, but it will give them a head start on their degree and decrease their time to graduation. Also, by providing them access to college-level STEM courses at a younger age, we will increase the likelihood that they will remain interested in STEM fields, obtain a degree in STEM, and satisfy the growing need in the workforce. I am proud to say that this legislation carries a great deal of support, including the California STEM Learning Network, EdVoice, Cal Chamber, and several others. With that, I ask for your support.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second after my interruptive friend, Mr. Linder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Mira Morton here on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce today. I'm pleased to support AB 889. We are broadly supportive of expanding concurrent enrollment access for students. It increases engagement, improves high school graduation rates, and has the potential to speed up time to degree and transfer for students. But in particular, last year we did a lot of work on expanding access to computer science and especially early access for students while they're still in high school, because it increases the odds that they will pursue those subjects when they move on into college. And so for that reason, we're pleased to see this effort to increase access to all STEM fields for high school students, give them access to college-level coursework, and hopefully not only encourage them to go on to pursue some sort of post-secondary training, but to do it in a STEM field that's likely to lead to a job that pays significantly higher than the national average. So for that reason, please support.
Any other witnesses in support? Members of the audience in support? No? Witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, questions or comments from the committee? No?
I had a quick question. We just passed a bill on concurrent enrollment, high school. So I assume that bill also would encompass this, or would it not? We've had a lot of concurrent enrollment
Ms.
stuff.
Weber, my understanding is that you're correct, that both of the bills address the
Same subject matter?
Correct. So
Okay.
that they would have to come together. They will have to be taking chaptering out.
Okay.
And come
okay.
together.
Because I'm just okay. That's fine. Because we had seemed like the same bill, but one is one subject matter with STEM, and the other is overall.
What Ms.
concept.
Weber is explaining is that your bill and Mr. Holden's bill.
Right. His is specifically geared towards career technical education, and mine is STEM courses.
I think Ms. Weber's point is that there's an overlap.
There's an overlap.
And if both bills did move forward,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to eventually figure out.
Right. And he and I are
integrate.
working together, actually. Yeah, and we both support each other's
I think
bills.
that's all we're pointing out.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm observing and I'm hearing, and I think they're coming together. Okay.
Right.
Good.
So do I have a motion? Senator, Assemblymember Linder, first and second by Baker and Harper. All right. So the motion is due pass as amended to the Education Committee. Madam Secretary, if you'd call the roll.
Medina.
Aye.
Medina, aye. Baker. Baker, aye. Bloom.
Aye.
Bloom, aye. Chavez. Harper.
Aye.
Harper, aye. Irwin.
Aye.
Irwin, aye. Jones Sawyer.
Aye.
Jones Sawyer, aye. Levine.
Aye.
Levine, aye. Linder.
Aye.
Linder, aye. Lowe.
Aye.
Lowe, aye. Santiago. Santiago, aye. Weber. Weber, aye. Williams. Williams, aye.
12-0. That's it. Okay. Your bill gets out of committee. I will leave it open for members who want to add on.
Thank you so much.
All right. Moving forward now in sign-in order. Item number 7, Mr. Calderon.
This is AB 421. Yep, that's it. We're in. Do you have that on? All right, while they're getting situated, I'm going to go ahead and start. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I come before you today to present AB 421, but I want to first start by accepting the committee's amendments and want to thank you for your help. California is home to an estimated 1.8 million veterans. Of those, roughly 60,000 are enrolled on a California community college campus. Student veterans face a series of challenges as they reintegrate into civilian life, including social, psychological, and health issues. With student to counselor ratios at community colleges hovering around 719 to 1, it is easy for student veterans to get lost in the fray of overcrowded campuses and experience difficulty navigating the transfer process. AB 421 will require the governing board of a community college district to provide a veteran counselor on each campus to assist student veterans achieve their educational goals. This bill also instructs the California Community College Board of Governors to establish and maintain the minimum qualifications for services as a veterans counselor. California has made great strides in recent years to assist veterans in terms of reintegrating into civilian life. We must continue to ensure our veterans have the tools and information necessary to succeed in their educational endeavors. Thank you, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote on this bill. And with me today, I have Catherine Morris, a veteran counselor at Sierra College, who will speak about her experience working with students along with other witnesses.
Thank you, members of the Assembly. My name is Catherine Morris, and I am a veteran, having served 15 years in the Marine Corps, Army National Guard, and Air National Guard. I have been a veterans counselor at Sierra College since 2001. I am one of the few veteran counselors in community colleges with extensive background working with veterans, the GI Bill, VA, etc. I've witnessed our veteran population grow from 195 students when I first started to well over 850 veteran students, Guard and Reservist. When I accepted the position in 2001, our campus was similar to most other campuses. The Veterans Program consisted of a window at the admissions and records counter, staffed with a veteran certifying official who was not actually a veteran and did not have a great understanding of veteran students, the GI Bill or VA benefits. Once the veteran students made it to my office and we began a conversation, I began to hear the same phrase over and over. The phrase was, "I would rather go back to combat than try to navigate the college system." In the military, you receive extensive training. You're part of a team. At college, veterans often feel isolated and alone, trying to navigate the bureaucracy of the GI Bill, college, and the VA system. If I actually put all the forms together that a veteran has to fill out on paper or online, it would go twice over from one wall to the other and back and forth. After hearing this 100 times and over, I realized that something had to change, and so began my journey advocating on behalf of veteran students, which has been at times extremely difficult, if not downright exhausting at times, but I never give up because of my veterans. In the past several years, the Community College Chancellor's Office began hosting veteran summits, and the Student Vets of America released the Million Records Project. These are important steps in the right direction, but only skim the surface of the support needed for veterans. The data from the Million Records Project offers critical, albeit limited, new insight into the lives and needs of veterans. But questions have been raised about comparing veteran students to non-veterans because the Department of Education uses different formulas. Make it a simple comparison to other non-traditional students and those with non-military related disabilities leads the reader to an inaccurate picture of the veteran's experience and potential to achieve in higher education. We need to stop celebrating the 51.7% completion rate, as it is not worthy of celebration and is likely an overestimate. We should begin asking questions what we can do to raise veterans' graduation rates at our individual campuses so that we will truly have the best educated and most employable veteran workforce ever. Research shows that nearly one-third of recently returning veteran students who serve in Afghanistan or Iraq face mental health challenges, which can affect their performance in school, work, and relationships. We also need to research the number of veterans assessing into remedial math and English. My experience shows that the majority of veterans assess into these courses, and it can add an extra 2 years onto their time at a community college. Poses great barriers to completing their program under the GI Bill. We need to research the number of veterans that are deployed. 80% of my veterans in my Boots to Books class.
If I could please remind the witnesses that due to time constraints, we want to keep it to 2 witnesses, 2 minutes.
Okay.
So if you please could wrap up.
Research shows that 80% of the veterans have been deployed in my Boots to Books class. At Sierra College, out of 30 veterans enrolled, one of them has been deployed 7 times. 2 of my veterans have committed suicide in the past 2 years. Although my veterans are highly resilient and overcome tremendous obstacles in their lives and are the backbone of our Veterans Center at Sierra College, the level of student veterans dealing with complex mental health issues such as combat stress injuries, depression, suicide is ever increasing. Every one of our veteran students that works with us deals with the combat stress injuries. I want to sum up at our Veterans Center, through advocating, we now have a 2,000 square foot Veterans Center where the Veterans Counselor myself is. We also have veteran peer mentors, Boots to Books class, veteran-specific orientations, weekend challenge courses. I could go on and on. We do this because it benefits veteran students and it helps them achieve. Lastly, I would like to say AB 421 would make a strong statement to our veterans that we are serious about supporting them in their next journey to higher education. It's a small price to pay, given that veteran students at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to my country for the amount up to and including my life.
Thank you. And I will reiterate that we had 2 minutes, 2 witnesses. So I hope that we can maybe keep it to 2 witnesses.
Honorable Assembly members, thank you for having me. My name is Daniel Avanlio. I'm the Veterans Program Coordinator at American River College. I kind of want to share my story because I am a Marine Corps veteran. I did 3 deployments to Iraq myself. I started off at the community college level at American River College. After my 3rd deployment, I did a 13-month deployment to Iraq, and literally a month later, I was on campus at ARC. I struggled greatly with the transition back into the community college system, as I didn't know where to go from there until I actually met a counselor at the campus that kind of understood about veterans and was a veteran himself. And from there, I became successful thanks to his help. That's why I think it's very important to pass AB 421. Now I'm actually in my master's program at Sac State. Actually going to become a counselor myself because of his help. So I'm hoping that my story can carry on and definitely help out other veterans as they transition back.
Other witnesses in support? And if you would just state your name and what organization you're from.
My name is Trezor Bunker, and I'm representing the Sierra College Veterans Center, and I strongly support AB 421.
Thank you.
Lorraine Ploss, State Legislative Chair for American Veterans of California. We support this.
Thank you. Other witnesses in support?
Mr. Chairman, members, Pete Conity representing over 20 veterans groups, representing 1 million of the 1.84 million veterans in the state of California. This bill is necessary and needed to help our returning veteran Californians succeed in college. Thank you.
Other witnesses in support?
Yes, sir. My name is Dustin Byers, and I'm a student veteran at Sierra College, and I definitely support AB 421.
My name is Nancy Pancan Vargas. I'm also a student at Sierra College and a work-study with the Veterans Center, and I also support this bill.
Hello, my name is Alan Nuneg, student veteran, and I support this bill.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Pancan. I'm a student at Sierra College and a family member of some veterans. I support this bill too. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Justin DeMartin, and I strongly support this bill. I'm a veteran at Sierra College, and thanks to Catherine, my family has a roof over their head, and their mouths are fed, and it's all because of her and her efforts alone. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Witnesses in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee? Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Member Calderon, for bringing forward this bill. Just a question and then a comment. The question is, and I'm very glad that you've adopted the committee's amendments. I think they're appropriate. Is there anything in the legislation that either encourages or requires that the counselor be a veteran? Because one of the goals here is to ensure that there isn't a sense of isolation. There's someone who may have, at least on some terms, be able to relate more closely. I didn't see that in the language, and I'm curious if you can comment on that, please.
Currently, there is nothing specifying that counselor has to be a veteran. What we do specify is that they have to go through specific training so that they know how to handle these situations, specific to any veterans.
Very good. And it won't always be either possible at every location, and want to make sure the person's matched with someone who is skilled at that particular job. I would just encourage, as this goes forward, the consideration of either an encouragement or some language that says whenever possible that the counselor be a veteran if possible. I realize that making it a mandate may be just entirely too restrictive. And secondly, this, I'm sure you would agree, is just the beginning. We want to make sure our veterans on campus are not in silos. Many of us may have examples of terrific veteran centers at community colleges in our district. One of mine is Las Positas College. So having a counselor is just the beginning. I think having a space and a tremendous more support that doesn't segregate our veteran students but does support them. I look forward to working with you and other members to make that possible.
Thank you.
Mr. Harp.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the bill as amended.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Harper, second by Ms. Baker. Like Ms. Baker, I, at Riverside Community College, where I was a trustee, also have veterans counselors, a veterans program, and I very much commend Mr. Calderon for bringing this bill forward. So the motion before us is due pass as amended to the Veteran Affairs Committee. Madam Secretary, if you call the roll.
Medina.
Aye.
Medina, aye. Baker. Aye. Baker, aye. Bloom. Aye. Bloom, aye. Chavez. Harper.
Aye.
Harper, aye. Irwin. Aye. Irwin, I. Jones Sawyer. Jones Sawyer, I. Levine. Levine, I. Linder. Linder, I. Lowe.
Aye.
Lowe, I. Santiago. Santiago, I. Weber. Weber, I. Williams. Williams, I.
The measure passes 12-0. We'll keep it open for members who want to add on.
Thank you, members.